Terminator X in the Valley of the Jeep Beats. So was that something you had been wanting to do a solo project, or was that something that came like how did that the genesis of that?
Well, at some point, I guess, especially after doing Terminator X, Edge of Panic. Well, s- since the group started, that was my. I was like, I got to produce. I wanted to produce a project. I'd been home working on beats, working with different people. And here's a little fun fact for you. I actually was going to be signed by Epic Records, which is something I kind of regret now I didn't do. I had got a record deal with Epic Records. Um, they were courting me. I went to a Shabba Ranks signing party. Um, I went to a lot of their events, and I had a deal all set up with Epic Records. And Chuck was like, "Yo, man, don't sign with them. Sign with my label." You know, he had the Pro Division RAL deal, and he asked me to sign with his label, which was not as good a deal, but me trying to be uh, loyal to the group, which I kind of regret now. Anyway, so I signed with Chuck, and so that's how that album became about.
Hmm.
Became, so because Epic wanted me to work because I was initially always going to work with local talent, but Epic was like, we'll sign you, but we want to put all the whoever's hot out now. Like they wanted to put Method Man on my album, people like that who were hot at the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was a huge deal. But like I said, I you know I try to be I I already said I try to be loyal to the group, which I'm not sure it was the right thing to do. But anyway, it is what it
Well,
is.
what do you think they would have Epic would have done that Pro Division RAL didn't do? Like, what do you mean?
Oh well, first of all, I think they really believed in the project. Um, they had a lot of interest in it. Like I said, they courted me, and I think they would have put all these people like whoever was hot at the time. Like, I think it would have a lot more money would have been put into the project, and they would have worked it harder. In fact, I had to go to my attorney, Ron Scola, which was the excommunicated Public Enemy attorney, is the one who got me that deal with Epic Records. Anyway, but yeah, maybe I got the names wrong, but yeah, that was the deal.
Well, the thing about the Valley of the Jeep Beats, I remember very distinctly the cover of the album with that big Jeep on it. So what was the meaning of that for you and the significance of the Valley of the Jeep Beats in particular?
Um, Jeeps was a thing at the time. Like when Public Enemy started, the 98s and
Yeah.
those type of cars with the spokes and all that stuff. That was the thing. And by the time I did my album, people was riding around in Jeeps with huge speakers in the back, that sort of thing. So that's kind of how where that came from.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Buck Whylin song, DMC's in the video with that with you, and obviously Sister Soldier and Chuck D are on the song. Lots of scratching, very up tempo, very, you know, you produced that, right? Because
The Buck Wildin.
yeah,
No. I didn't do the track. I did the scratch and I didn't do the track. The track is actually a double sample. It's Beastie Boys, but Beastie Boys sampled it as well from someone else. Uh, the scratching I did is In Vogue's intro. Uh, Hold on. It's the singing, the Michael Jackson singing in the beginning of and it took me a while to put that together because I wanted it to sound just so right. But yeah,
so
so
then what
I
did,
didn't do. Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
But with that, with Sister Soldier, who obviously was rising to prominence at the time, her being on the song, what do you think that added to Buck Whylin?
I would say she's kind of like the flavor of that record. um, she, but it was a strong black sister. So it fit well with Public Enemy. Um, at the same time, it was a contrast from Chuck. Well, not extreme contrast, but it sonically it worked well. Um, I think the meaning of the song she kind of fit in, especially the video um, with S1s and all that stuff. Um,
And Harry Allen.
it was essentially it essentially was another Public Enemy record, really.
No, if I would have
Yeah,
known, quote unquote, it was from your album, I definitely would have thought it was a
yeah,
Public Enemy song.
yeah. It's definitely another Public Enemy. It's a little twist with Sister Soldier, which I think was a good thing. But
Yeah,
I'm surprised that she wasn't on more things. I don't know what that's about. I couldn't tell you, but
you and me both. But but you had females on there with the Bonnie and Clyde with the Homie Don't Play That, which
Mhm.
I always thought was from In the Living Color. Maybe, maybe not. But
Well, that's true because it wasn't. So Homie Don't Play That. So let me. We actually got sued by about from the home from whoever owns the Living Color, and
really,
it didn't. Homie Don't Play That was a expression in the black community for years.
of course.
They didn't make it up, and because they did it on their show, they okay, we said that, so we claiming it, so they sued us, wrongfully, really. Um, I don't know if they had it copywritten or trademarked, whatever the case may be, but I was furious about that because that's not where they didn't create Homie Don't Play That. They made it a character, but I mean they didn't create it. That's where the character came from.
Right.
It's kind of public property, so to speak.
Yeah, public domain.
Public
Because
domain. There you go.
that was one of the things Ice Cube and other people did particularly well, which was take like a common phrase or something and then make that the song title. So,
Hmm.
that was definitely Homie Don't Play That was not uh it wasn't to your point, it wasn't created by In Living Color. But with Juvenile Delinquents and Bonnie and Clyde, a lot of the people that you had on Terminator X in the Valley of the Jeep Beats. What was your idea for introducing new talent, breaking new talent? What was your mind and your idea behind that?
Well, I've had this. I've been trying to figure out who was the first one. I think Red Alert. So you're a knowledgeable gentleman. Who was the first DJ to put out an album? I can name, and I can name at least one. I'm pretty sure Red Alert was before me.
Yeah, Red Alert. And, when we get into the discussion of DJ and producers, remember Herbie Lovebug had an album, uh, Red Alert had an album. So if you're looking at it like that, is Herbie considered a DJ? I'd say no, but he produced and he had a compilation. So yeah,
So
you're
I know
you're
Chuck. I know Chuck Chill Out did a project, but I don't remember when that came.
yeah, but he was part of a remember it was a group. So
Oh, yeah, Cool Chip.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
exactly.
So
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 that
Red Alert. So Red Alert would have to be the first one then. But I just it was something new. You grew up with people in the neighborhood that leaders of the new schools from my area. That we Public Enemy is very intertwined with Public Enemy. A lot of young black teenagers. We just had a lot of talent around, and it just was a thing to do. Unfortunately, uh, even in radio, there's an argument about radio doesn't support local artists. So it was basic an outreach trying to help out the community as well as making music, making art. Um, in fact, of course, Buck Whylin was probably obviously the biggest record on my first album, but my favorite record is Juvenile Delinquents. Um, I think that's a greatly overlooked record, but it
But
was
that
in
one's
fact in fact that was the first one to put kids on a record. That was prior to Criss Cross. That was probably the youngest rappers that ever been on a record at that time. I don't know, it's definitely not now, but